Welcome to the How to Heal podcast, the show where we explore real life stories and practical tools to thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay Tremonti Richter, and through over a 15-year journey of all things healing, I'm here to hook it up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, looking for a deeper connection, or straight up in a psycho-spiritual crisis, I got you covered. Let's unearth your unique elixir to purpose, peace, and progress. Here we go. I don't know why I'm not getting my recording in progress notification, but it's throwing me off, son. So what are we talking about on this podcast? I just want to remind you, if you're tuning in regularly or for the first time, we're talking about how to get back to the meaning of our lives, the feeling that makes us feel connected to something bigger, because everything around us these days is set out to literally take us from the ability to connect with God, whatever you want to call it. When we feel like our lives lack meaning, that is literally like the deterioration of humanity. And I really feel that our society is now built on a foundation of a deterioration of the human part of who we are. I love movies. I know I mentioned The Substance last episode, and I still wake up thinking about that terrible movie. But I do want to say the messaging in The Substance was quite powerful. I think every movie that we watch, typically, whether you're paying attention or you're not, it is a subconscious message that we learn. And I remember, like, in the 90s, I watched Forrest Gump like 5 billion times with my best friend. And I loved that movie. It was like a 3-hour relaxation fest. But what it also was this like magical lesson, which I literally just picked up this year. I'm actually going to have to go into my notes and figure out what the lesson is, because on the spot, I'm not so good. Let's see. Forrest Gump. Here it is. Yeah. Forrest Gump. I was like, what is that movie like about, really? Like, because so many things happen in that movie, and like history is happening, and he's building a business, and he is in love, and his mother, and all this stuff. And literally, what that movie is about is living through your heart, being open-hearted, and letting not only Lieutenant Dan, like, on the top of the ship, like, come on, give me what you got. And then the storm ends and he's like, finds peace, surrendering to the universe, the divine, God, whatever you want to call it. And Forrest Gump the whole time really doesn't know anything other than what his mother taught him, is just like love, 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 love. And I loved that movie. I loved that I watched it 5 million times and didn't really understand what the meaning of it was. I think a lot of us watch like really crazy movies over and over again, and the message isn't so kosher. So literally, I watched this movie. I don't remember what it was called. It was with the guy from The Social Network, Jesse Eisenberg, and another actress, and they moved into this like community that ended up getting like sucked into, and then having like a baby, but the baby was like I don't even know, a robot. We watched it in COVID. It was like probably the worst time to watch the movie. It was so disturbing. And even now to this day, where I'm like, I don't like watching this movie while I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, that's what they were saying. Like, there's a part of being a parent that feels fucking insane. You're like, what am I doing? I'm totally messing up this little human that came to the world to be parented by me, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and we're totally fucking up life together. And, I think generally speaking, I'll give the entertainment industry the benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of artists are doing the right thing. But just entertainment brings me back to what we're talking about, guys. What are we talking about? The entertainment industry has literally turned into this mindless consumption of interesting things. And I just want to say this one thing that's so funny. We were in the Bahamas last week. My daughter looks at me and she goes, interesting. And I say, what? She's 5 years old. I say, what? She said, your hair, it doesn't ever, you don't have to do anything to it. And like, it always looks, my daughter's like obsessed with my hair. And I was like, I never realized like how lucky I was with my hair until I had a daughter who is now obsessed with my hair. Anyway, my point is like that, what I just spoke about is technically entertainment. Like it really holds no value other than like an anecdotal story. That's why we read books. That's why we've read books in the history of time. But typically, those messages have deeper meanings if you think about them, if you process them on the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual levels. So, what we are talking about on this podcast is how to get back to the fucking meaning of life without consuming, without even consuming this podcast, without consuming any external validation to let you know you're on the right track. Because when you're really living in your purpose and your truth, you're not going to get that external validation from anywhere other than your Forrest Gump heart. So I saw this video just before on Instagram with Gary Vee being like, your grandchildren are going to marry an AI robot. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Like crazier things have happened. I mean, crazier things haven't happened, but crazier things are happening, like generally speaking, all over the world. So I think if that shit is going to happen, what is preventing you from being your full authentic self? What is preventing you from expressing yourself the way you want to express yourself? And I'll tell you what it is. You've gotten so far from yourself that you don't know what to express. So many of us just like learn to shut the fuck up because we're told it's not appropriate. We're told it's not acceptable. We're told we're too loud. Whatever the reasons are, I don't need to go through this. We've heard this message so many times. But what I'm here to say is the world is conditioning us to become more and more and more submissive and more consumerative of taking in information that is simply entertainment. We can no longer live in the subconscious, guys. We can no longer live in the subconscious. We have to really start examining why we do the things we do, why we feel the way we feel, and living our life the way it makes sense to us in our hearts, people. Okay, that's what it is. We have to get to our heart. We're so taught to laugh and everything is external. Everything is validating me. Everything looks great. It doesn't feel great though. Like, so I have to pop some pills. I have to overeat. I have to take Ozempic. I have to get some plastic surgery. Like whatever it's going to do to put the Band-Aid on to make yourself feel better. I promise we're going to get into the energetic lesson of this episode, but this is what's going on. Why are we talking about things that are so unimportant? I get that there is like, again, an entertainment value to going and watching. I don't know. Who's that girl that I like followed? She's like married to this trans cis woman who's a man who like played in that Michelle Williams show, Dying for Sex. He is like the person who does the domination. Why am I watching these people? Because they're expressing themselves in interesting ways. But what are they saying? What are they saying? They're promoting chicken nuggets from Burger King. Do I really need to fucking pay my time? Because my time is money. So now I'm paying this girl who is funny. I'm watching her because she's entertaining. But basically, I'm paying her to feed me information to go eat Burger King nuggets or Taco Bell nuggets or whatever it is. Watch what you're consuming. We only have, and here we go. Here's the portion that we come into the energy. And this is not even my theme of of the show today, but this is the show. This is the energetic piece. Our time is money. Our money is energetics. Our energetics is what helps us create money, which helps us create abundance, which helps us create physical health, which helps us change emotional health. All of these things come from the energy that we bring to things. When we are constantly leaking out energy into sources that are literally depleting us. We've gone wrong. We've gone wrong. Hello, wake up. Is anyone home? Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because the dysfunction of the world, holy shit. Like, what are we endorsing? By default, it must change. And it will change when we just turn into a fucking spark of dust when the whole world explodes. Sorry. I don't want to be like so negative, but like I guess that is the concept of energetics. As the outside world gets louder and AI gets more advanced and robots, literally you can't tell if it's a robot or a human. You're bringing a robot in to have sex in your sexless marriage to spice things up, and meanwhile it saves your marriage. Like, this is where we're talking about AI getting to the next level, and like everything put out there, out there, out there, out there, builds, 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 builds. And as we build out there, guess what? The energy of those paying attention, the life force, the meaning, it's a spark inside that's getting wiser and wiser and quieter and quieter because the world is pulling us away from our deeper meaning. So make no mistake, all of these subconscious things that I remember learning in like middle school, like all this like subliminal messaging. I have no idea what subliminally we're learning. It's clearly like put everything in the external and not focus on what makes us feel good. Deeper feel good, not like instant feel good, like lasting feel good. Like we need to feel good to live for a long time if we want to. Like deeper conversations, meaningful conversations, not just simply entertainment. The spark inside of us, no matter how much shit you've consumed, no matter how far off the deep end you've gone, is still there. And guess what? It's getting smaller and smaller, but it's still there. It doesn't die. And when you have the awakening, you're like, holy fuck, what is going on? That's the scary part of spiritual awakening. When you're like, oh my God, I'm so fucked. My whole reality is not okay. It's based on a lie. I don't know how to turn this ship around. And that's what we do then. We go to the physical, the mental, emotional, the spiritual, and we correct day by day, by day by day. So, that was a Meet the Parents reference, by the way, which best movie ever. We really just have to embrace the fact that we are living in a world that it is acceptable to not be good humans, not be good people, make money off of people for selfish reasons. I'm just going to sit with that for a second because I went to a Harvard negotiation school when I was working for Wawa. They sent us to Boston in the summer. It was amazing. And in the negotiation class program, we went for like a week. Said the best negotiation is when you have a pie, but the pie is made larger so more people can have bigger pieces of the pie. It's not about winning. The best negotiation from a business standpoint is when the pie is made larger so that both parties can have larger pieces. It's not steal from the other person, because many times in those circumstances, you do not come up with the creative solutions that you could have come up with to even gotten more money for yourself. And that's the mentality that we really have to like get into, the mind frame of understanding that we are no longer in this world of struggle, work hard, make it happen, do it, steal. Like, we've already exhausted the fucking gas, guys. Like, our earth is hurting. We're in trouble. Like, we've made bad decisions for too long. And now we kind of like know what those decisions are, right? Like, I just watched this thing. My neighbor sent me this video and it was talking about like I think it was in the 90s that it changed from copper pipes to PVC. And PVC is like a plastic, essentially like synthetic pipe. But the interesting thing, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but like this is, I promise it's going to have a moral. The water that went through the pipes, like conducted some way with copper where like it was, I think because they started adding fluoride to the water. because of the health benefits, but it like reacted with copper in a certain way. I think that's what happened. And that's why they switched to PVC. But essentially what my point is the thing is that I wrote her back and I'm just like, this is crazy. Like we're like filtering water through our homes through plastic, which we know is just full of chemicals and not natural, not a natural element and like all this stuff. And she's like, yeah, and fluoride actually weakens your pineal gland, which helps us connect to God. And this is literally just a wider spread issue, like a little drop in the bucket of something that we don't even think of every day that literally is affecting the way we are functioning in the world. We are begging for meaning. We are begging for acceptance, to be seen, to be loved, to feel something. And it's not going to come from social media, posting amazing pictures of yourself, going to like expensive vacations, getting the money, doing the things. It's not going to be from doing. It's going to be from being, learning how to be with yourself, experience the beauty around you, inside of you, the magic that you make. That is the energy that we're looking for, the energy that we're looking for. So I think it's important when we think about energy and energetics to understand that we've gotten so far from the rhythms, the natural rhythms of how we function as humans on Earth, that we've forgotten our power to make real change. We're literally just saying, well, fuck it. I'm going to just throw this piece of plastic on the floor and litter and just that example, you can just play it out in every other circumstance. Like it just reiterates itself. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, okay, let's mindlessly consume. And listen, I cannot stand paper straws, but like, why are we just not using like, whatever. This is not my point. Like we could be using bamboo straws, right? I mean, it's like the same thing. I just don't want my straw melting in my coffee because like I paid $7 for an iced coffee. I don't want it like melting in my coffee. But like we have just gotten so far from the rhythms of nature, of who we are. We are literally animals that came from the earth. We are connected to the universe. We're forgetting these rhythms and we're looking to the external. I want to just end with giving you a little bit of advice before I leave, because I think this has been a little bit of a doomsday episode, but that wasn't the intention. The thought behind the episode, is like when we are feeling down, when we are feeling sad, when we are feeling spinning out of control, like can't calm the voices in our head, there are things that we can do physically. I always talk about just coming back to the physical. There are things that we can do physically to help our energy ground, calm down, be in the present moment. Music is a huge conductor of change for your energetics. So put something on that is going to make you feel however you want to feel. I have actually a creative juices list in my Spotify. I don't just have like happy. I know what happy is. Like I'll flip into a song until I get happy. I have like a creative juices list that I like to listen to that makes me feel more. Right. But like also just moving furniture, cleaning your house, doing the dishes, getting your literal house in order, organizing things. I am a fanatic. I always am organizing my house. I don't like things that are not in their right place. For me, energetically, when things are in their right place, I feel more calm, collected, organized, under control. Another thing that you can do to change your energy that is not physical is meditating. And you don't need to meditate for 20 minutes on a pillow and sit in silence. Like it can really look like a lot of different things. But I just want to emphasize what the opposite of meditating is. The opposite of meditating is continuing to go to the physical and instill change and move your furniture and clean your house and do the dishes and get everything in order and organize everything when you know that you need to calm down. You need to quiet down. And sometimes we need to listen to ourselves and say, okay, I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to take some breaths into my heart. I'm going to, and then from that place, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pay these bills. And then all of a sudden the bills are paid and you're like, oh, that just freed up so much energy. And then when you free up that level of energy, you're like, I'm going to make this call to a friend. And you make the call to a friend and you're like, okay, I actually have this on my heart and this on my mind. And I want to share this with my friend because she's able to be there for me like that. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to come back to myself now and I'm going to process on my own a little more. And it's just little by little by little. We're really not looking to crack the code. There's no fucking cracking the code, guys. Like, if you didn't, hello, there's no cracking the code. The code is way more expansive than our life here on Earth. But if we can little by little provide ourselves relief, we will eventually get to a point where our chain is like chugging, chugging along. We can do this. We're here. We're present. I love you guys. I show up because you know what? If I'm not showing up, none of us are. And that's how I see it, because my reality is the world's reality. We are all one and the same. So let's keep showing up together. I love you.